We've got scheduling info for Tennessee's 2025 season, including when Checker Neyland is happening and what time the Vols kick off the campaign. Some Tennessee fans have not had a good reaction to it, but I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be surprised. We'll do that next. Hey, Lucas Panzica here from 104.5 The Zone and A to Z Sports. So we already knew that year 5 of the Josh Heupel era will kick off in Atlanta, a neutral site game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Syracuse Orange. We now know officially the kickoff time for that matchup. It will be the early game in week 1, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern time in Atlanta. Now, some Tennessee fans naturally have seen this, and they've been upset that it's not a primetime game, that the Vols got the early slate in week 1. And I'm here to tell you it's not because of any favoritism or disrespect from ESPN or ABC. It is simply that there are better games with more high-profile matchups happening later on in the day. So Tennessee kicks off at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. The afternoon game is going to be Alabama visiting Tallahassee to take on Florida State, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. And then the nightcap, primetime on ABC in week 1, will be LSU going to Clemson in Death Valley, the other Death Valley, for a 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern kickoff. The fact is, Alabama at Florida State is a matchup of bigger brands than Tennessee against Syracuse. Florida State, despite being dreadful, one of the worst teams in all of college football last year, are a much bigger draw than the Syracuse Orange, who are coming off a 10-win season and had a phenomenal campaign last year in the ACC. How Florida State turns things around under Mike Norvell after bottoming out in a year that followed an undefeated ACC winning season is much more intriguing as they take on Alabama than anything the Syracuse Orange are doing. And that's just a fact. And then you have LSU going to Clemson. These are two teams that are going to have a lot of pressure on them. First of all, for LSU, the pressure is immense right now on Brian Kelly to elevate the Tigers to a national championship contender, which was absolutely the baseline expectation when he was hired. LSU hasn't exactly gotten close to those heights so far in the Brian Kelly era. Meanwhile, it's a Clemson team that absolutely has the talent profile and the quarterback in Cade Klubnik to be a dark horse contender for a national title. The meeting of the Tigers, one Death Valley team heads to the other Death Valley at Clemson. That obviously has to be put in a primetime slot. So Tennessee fans, it's nothing to do with the Tennessee Vols. It is simply the other matchups are going to be a bigger draw for a bigger television audience. And look, if you're me, I love the 11 a.m. kickoff. Would you like to see your team in prime time? Sure, but especially in week 1, all the anticipation building in the offseason, that nervous, exciting tension that you get leading up to kickoff, I love getting it out of the way, kick that thing off at 11 a.m. and know what the result is by, let's say, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, whenever that game might wrap up. And that way, especially if Tennessee gets the win, you can just kick back and enjoy the football for the rest of the evening. So there you go. Tennessee kicking off the season at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern against Syracuse in Atlanta. The other scheduling note that Tennessee football officially announced this week, Checker Neyland. That is happening in week 3. September 13th against the Georgia Bulldogs at home. Now, the time for that game, the kickoff, is TBD, but that is certainly one that if Tennessee shows itself to be maybe better than many expect, a lot of that will be up to Joey Aguilar if he does indeed win the quarterback job, then that is a game that could have a chance to be in that primetime ABC slot for a premier SEC matchup. But clearly, Tennessee is trying to foster the best home environment possible for the Georgia game. And this is a bit of a different move from Danny White, the athletic director at Tennessee. Typically, Tennessee in this era has not pulled out alternate uniforms or Checker Neyland for its biggest opponents. Typically, they do those things for the South Carolina game, the Kentucky game. That'll give the team a little bit of juice, but maybe not mount that pressure against a team that's going to come in as the favorite. Georgia absolutely is going to come in as the favorite. They're once again expected to be a contender. Tennessee's going to Checker Neyland for that matchup. So there you go. The 2025 season will be here before we know it. How do you feel about Tennessee having an 11 a.m. kickoff against Syracuse and the Vols checkering Neyland for the Georgia game? Let us know in the comments.